So let's talk about the Pistons rotation in the playoffs. I think it's going to be interesting, especially most teams in the playoff cut their rotation. When the Pistons been really good, man, they always been deep. Going back to when they had James Edwards at the end of the bench. Just a plethora of guys they can throw, even at the 04 team that won the championship. Rest in peace to Eldon Campbell, pulling him out the deep freezer on Shaq. And usually most teams cut their rotations down to 8. That was an issue with the Knicks. What's his name? Tom Thibodeau he only played like 7 or 8 people all year. So they was in playoff mode, putting a lot of added mileage on their players, and they would, break down towards the end. And that was somewhat of an issue for them. But I think the Pistons, man, when you look at that rotation outside of the 5, Duncan, Duren, Cade, Asar, Tobias, and you say I'm just gonna do 3 off the bench. Obviously Stu is gonna be one, Jenkins gonna be the other. At that point, then it get interesting because Ron Hollins is analytically one of the best defenders in the league. Karis LeVert is a guy you paying money that you hope, who's starting to find the rhythm. Kevin Huerter finding with her. Javonte Green, a.k.a. Wu, is doing this thing. So it's going to be hard for them to say, well, we only going to play 8. It's going to be hard. Especially when you're a defensive team like them and the fouls are going to become a little bit more lenient, a little bit more physical. You just got so many guys on this team that serve purposes. And then also with the rotations, like the lineups, the closing lineups, the lineups when you want to give Cade a break. And Duncan Robinson is shooting the ball at a very, very good high clip right now. He's starting to find a rhythm. Herter's starting to find a rhythm. So, and who you going to close it out with? Is he going to go off a field? This is very intriguing how they going to do this. Because last year it was kind of Schroeder and Cade closing the show. Is it going to be, we going to go with the high hand? Because what the game plan is going to be. They're going to try to mimic what the Knicks did last year with them trying to take the ball out of Cade Cunningham's hand and make somebody else beat them. In a game or two, it was Tobias, or consistently, it ended up being, what's the dude's name? Dennis Schroeder. So now, kind of Malik Beasley didn't really show up the way he was supposed to in that playoff series. Jalen Duren was in foul trouble. So the team looks a lot different. Now you kind of got, Tim Hardaway Jr. was cool. He was, doing this. But now you can really rely on, what you're going to get from Tobias. He probably going to give you one super game of series, a good one. And then, he's probably going to be Tobias for the rest of the games. But now you got Jalen Duren, who had that taste, who grew up, who's got that all-star reputation, possibly all NBA reputation just about there. So to me, it's a different team. So if you come with that game plan and you're trying to guard, the Pistons like the Knicks did last year, that might be your best bet to take the ball out of Cade Cunningham's hand. But I think in that New York series, Asar had a really good New York game in New York offensively when they need they need a big. So if Duncan can shoot the ball the way he can shoot the ball, and LeVert can, do his thing, and you can have, Herter doing this thing. It can be anybody's night, so they can honestly go on a high hand. But one thing you probably knowing for sure is the 2 guys that's going to be closing it out down the stretch is going to be Cade and Dennis Jenkins. That's what you know. That's what you know. Those going to be the guys. And then the next guy, it's going to be, I think it's going to be subjective on base. If we have a lead, it's probably most likely going to be Asar Thompson, Tobias. Here's Jalen Duren. But if you got a guy that's burning hot, you probably getting, like, if it's Herter or LeVert got it going on, they both can score, they both can shoot. Maybe you move Asar to the 4. I mean, it's so many, like, it's so many different buttons that JB Bickerstaff can legitimately push. But that's necessarily, that's a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. It can legitimately be a bad thing. Because you got all these options, but in my opinion, it's a couple absolutes that you really got. Cade, Jenkins closing it out. Those are the absolutes. There may be some games where you put Wu at the 4 or LeVert at the 4, and you go. They got so many options. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to be very interested in seeing what the rotations look like. And I think they probably benefit the way they play defense, a little bit more fouls. They're probably going to benefit from going 10 deep. Even if it's some guys getting 5 to 10 minutes, that would allow a guy like Javonte to be a little bit more aggressive on the ball. Hey, we really ain't planning on you being here 20 to 30 minutes. Use those fouls. Be aggressive. It's probably going to be able to get Ron Hollins to be a little bit more aggressive. Hey, we really not depending on you. Didn't play much in the last playoffs last year. Hey, you're a good defender. Hey, don't worry about it. Go out there, play hard-nosed defense. So it can allow some of these guys to kind of play a little bit more freer defensively, a little bit more aggressive defensively. I can see that, but I think down the stretch of those games, Jenkins and Cade, Jenkins is going to have to, he's going to have to beat Dennis Schroeder this year. But also, I think you may see some interchanging with Tobias, Duran, and Asar Thompson at times. Depending how the playoff series goes, you may see some interchanging with the high hand of Herter or LeVert in one of those spots. If Isaiah Stewart got it cooking, he may be in there with Duran, and so I think you may see that a lot more in these series, man. So they're in a unique spot. I don't think too many NBA teams are in the spot. With Oklahoma City Thunder, they know what it is. They've been here before. They know the rotation. San Antonio is similar in that spot. They're in a deep team. They had to cut Jeremy Sokan. I liked him coming out of Baylor. And now they could be on the verge of De'Aaron Fox can be on the move again. And unfortunately, not to the fault of his own, he's starting to get a reputation, like it's just bad luck. Because Ryan Harper's son is really, really good. So they're in that similar situation, a young team, very deep, bunch of guards, Castle. I mean, it's just unique. Denver know what it is. Oklahoma City know what it is. The Knicks know what it is. Boston know what it is. Maybe Tatum might need a maintenance day here and there in the playoffs, but they've been playing without him all year. They know what it is. All the contenders outside of the Spurs and the Pistons, they know what it is. Like, I really don't consider the Rockets contenders. I think they can be. They just don't have enough, and that's just my opinion on it. I just think they're missing Fred VanVleet, or they missing a guy like John Morant. But John Morant in Houston, But yeah, a lot of these other teams, man, that's true contenders, they know kind of how they want to manipulate the rotations and how they want to do it. So the Pistons, obviously, they have an idea what they did last year. They had some guys that didn't perform the way you want them to perform. You want Duran to stay out of foul trouble. You wanted Malik to shoot the ball. And had Malik shot the ball better, they would be in round 2. Okay? But it was an experience. Now you got some guys going through this. Like, Ron didn't play much, so he'll be going through the experience. Dennis Jenkins, I don't think was, a part of that main roster. He'd be going through that experience. LeVert has been in that experience. Kevin Herter, I believe, has been in a playoff environment. So, yeah, it's going to be fun, man, during another year in there. Isaiah Stewart kind of missing it with an injury this year. I'm interested to see how the rotations look. That's what I'm interested to see, where they cut it to 7-8. And I think the benefit of their rotation is that a lot of the shooting is on the bench. But they got a lot of guys that's pit bull defenders on the ball. And you can utilize their aggressive nature defensively. You can utilize that. You know, you can utilize Javonte Green, a beast on the ball. Kevin Huerter, when he got traded, I said he was a good defender. I said he more than just a shooter. He can really defend. He can put the ball on the floor. Stereotypical white boy. Oh, he can't defend. I said, oh, hell no. Huerter done won a nigga some money on FanDuel before. I'm talking about on the fantasy sports before they made it all whack. I ain't played it in years, but I like them. I like Kevin Huerter. You know, size. He more than just a shooter, defender, low maintenance guy. Big kid, 6'7". But Ryan Hollins, another pit bull out there that's great on. They got a lot of great on the ball defenders. So, I mean, I think you want to utilize the ability to have those fouls. You know what I mean? So, you know, Stewart, another good one. That's your shooting big. So, yeah, I think you know. But also the most important thing is, you know, during getting that experience, and he can play well into the playoffs with Stu. I mean, it's a different ball team just based off that. Therefore, don't have to be that much pressure on Dennis Jenkins to do what Schroeder did last year. So, but it's an experience, you know, still experience for a lot of guys on the team. So I look forward to it. Say, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link in the description. The link tree say find me everywhere. Check out the Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Peace.